Because it's not Daniel Dubois' time right now. It's Anthony Joshua's time right now.
Pro boxing fans here in London, Mayfair, with my good old friend Spencer Fearon. Spencer, always good seeing you. How's things? How's life?
Everything's blessed, man. Never been better for seeing you, so it's all good, man.
Let's talk quickly while we're here. GBM, Usyk, Adam Smith have announced a big deal with the Zone. I know you know these guys really well. How happy are you for Izzy and GBM and the progression that they're making in a short amount of time?
GBM, Izzy has been very, very supportive with the charity work that I've done with the Al Medina 313 charity. So he came to a fundraiser that we had earlier in the year with Hamzat Chimaev, and he came and he made a large donation as well, and I hope that he continues to do that himself. And so that was nice. And Al Siesta was present as well, and they donated to help for us to pay for containers to go out to feed the people out in Palestine. So I've got a proper synergy with the brother. He's a very, very nice guy, you know. So we've known each other indirectly for years because of boxing, and like, so he would say, "Oh, I always watch you when he's on Sky," and all the rest of it. So I like him. He's a nice guy, and he's proper for boxing because he's been an ex-fighter. So his relationship that he's gonna have with his fighters gonna be totally different to guys who haven't boxed. And you know, he's got this very big financial backing as well, and to see how fast his growth has been, it's amazing. But you know, I was meant to do the school run today, so I had to, you know, lose some brownie points to get some brownie points. But yeah, I wish them nothing but the best, and like, so I've been doing little bits and helping them along the way, so it's really good. I enjoy this. It's very good.
Hey, I was speaking to Izzy. I said, how big a deal is it? You're alongside Matchroom, Golden Boy on the Zone. How much do you feel like GBM have the scope to push forward and provide these big shows that they're promising with this tournament?
Let me just tell you this now. If you've been to their shows, the atmosphere is like when I used to do Hard Knocks. The atmosphere is nuts. And I just think it's fitting of somebody who is actually a grafter but a humble guy, that they're getting their flowers, you know, and I enjoy watching that, you know. And not only that, but I enjoy the fact that they've extended their hospitality to me. And he's done that quite a few times. I've never gone, so he must have had it in his head that I'm kind of disrespecting what he's doing, but it wasn't that time for this foolishness. But they're on point, man. They're really on point.
Do you want to talk about a few things in boxing before I do let you go? Let's talk about Anthony Joshua, Daniel Dubois. There's a lot of talk surfacing right now. It seems to be a fight that's in the making for September 21st at Wembley. I want to ask you though, you've known both guys really well. You've known Joshua since day dot, and Daniel Dubois.
Who told you that?
Because I've been around you at the same time that you've been around Joshua. And you've been around Dubois, you've seen what he's done in his youth. He's still very young right now. With all the sparring stories and everything, did you feel like Daniel Dubois would get to this stage? And we know what Joshua has done, he was always going to be, but did you feel like Daniel Dubois would get to a stage where he could be potentially headlining Wembley for a big fight against Anthony Joshua?
Yeah, I do, because if you know anything about Daniel Dubois' father, who is the Joe Jackson of boxing, all right? Right? I'm just keeping his feet. Stanley Dubois is Joe Jackson. I'm telling you, he's got a conveyor belt of children that all box. Here's a man that's raised. I got to commend his dad for everything that he's done. How he's said, right, we're doing boxing, and that's that. All of his kids box, and all of his kids are very, very good, and they're homeschooled as well. So I commend him for what he's done. You know what I mean? I really do. I commend him, because I remember back in the days when his dad used to be like a street urchin. He used to sell memorabilia and posters of history, and you know, to see from where he's come from, you know what I mean? It's a pleasure to see.
In your eyes, then, what happens in that fight between both fighters?
Well, if they fight, I'm going to keep this thing 100, yeah?
you always do.
Huh?
Which you always do.
Yeah, I've got to keep this thing 100. Anthony Joshua will knock out Daniel Dubois. Right? And I'm going to tell you why. Because it's not Daniel Dubois' time right now. It's Anthony Joshua's time right now. As Anthony Joshua, you cannot be eating those right hands from Hrgovic, and everyone say, oh, but you took those shots. Hrgovic is not a noted proven puncher. Okay? Let's just keep this thing 100, right? Anthony Joshua is a noted proven puncher. And right now, in the heavyweight division, with the demise of Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua is the hardest punching heavyweight in the world today. Right? Daniel Dubois is not the hardest punching heavyweight in the world today. Daniel Dubois is the most thudding puncher, heavyweight puncher in the world. But he's not a concussive puncher. He won't hit you and spark you one shot, right? So because of that, I would choose Anthony Joshua simply because of the relationship that Anthony Joshua has with Ben Davison, right? And the relationship isn't teacher-pupil, right? It's more like, I respect what you are telling me and you respect what I can do. And that's why it's working. So I would see Anthony Joshua knocking out Daniel Dubois, right? Because people seem to forget the wealthy experience that Anthony Joshua has. Anthony Joshua, if he wanted to, he could actually win fights ugly now. Not ask him to. I want it to be that exciting, explosive Anthony Joshua. But he could actually do that because he's got the IQ now. Before, I believe he was lacking in that department. But I think the IQ that he has acquired now is through his own personal experiences, not necessarily being taught, because he's taking bits from him, bits from him, bits from him, bits from him, and now we see the accumulation of it. And because we're seeing the accumulation of it now, I'm seeing a different Anthony Joshua who has literally found himself now. And I go back to the right hands that Daniel Dubois was taken from Hrgovic. They're not the right hands that Anthony Joshua will hit you with. And also, Anthony Joshua is a lot quicker than Hrgovic. And he's a lot more spite with Anthony Joshua. So because of that, I would say that it's not Daniel Dubois' time. But if I'm wrong, I'm really happy for him. But just to be truthful, that's my opinion. That's not me wanting Daniel Dubois to lose, and that's not me sitting down saying I'm wanting the demise of Anthony Joshua, just me telling it how it is.
Do you want to talk about another heavyweight? Every time we mention Joshua, we talk about Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury, first of all, looking at what people are saying in regards to a rematch, there seems to be a notion that's coming out that maybe Tyson Fury doesn't have the appetite for the rematch. Something that Johnny Nelson said, he might not even come back for the rematch. What do you make of that? And obviously there's a video that's surfacing right now, which obviously is something that I don't really want to question or ask, but it seems to be doing bits on social media. Can Tyson Fury just live a normal life? People do go out and do their thing, but he seems to be getting a bit more of a brunt than the usual.
Uni, let's be realistic. Tyson Fury is one of the best heavyweights in the world. Tyson Fury is the now deposed heavyweight champion of the world, right? In an excellent fight in what we saw in Riyadh. So let's just call it as it is. A lot of people are like, oh look at Tyson Fury who's drunk in a club and he stumbled out. I've seen the video, right? Why is anybody happy over that? How can anybody be happy over a fellow human being, stumbling out of a drunk out of his head, falling flat on his face? How can anybody be happy about that? You got to look at yourself if you're looking at that, saying, oh, look at him, he's a pisshead. His balance was all over the place. I agree. Tyson Fury's balance was all over the place, but I tell you one thing, you'd love to have his bank balance. I can tell you that now for none. Right? Big up Turkey Al Sheikh, because Turkey Al Sheikh has come into boxing and Turkey Al Sheikh has shaked up things, and that's the truth. Right? And on the reels, I feel sorry for Tyson Fury with that, but it's of the culture, right? That's not of my culture. That's not of my culture, right? But Tyson Fury is always about, get the beers in and blah, blah, blah. So he's just had a fight, right? He's in a little rest period. He's gone out and got drunk. I'm saying, I wouldn't particularly want my children to do that. But you know what? He's a grown-ass man. At the end of the day, he's a grown-ass man. I wouldn't I'm not gonna overly condemn his actions. He's drunk off his head, but the man's entitled to be drunk off his head. That's, you know what I mean. But my kids can't do that. I'll bust their ass. just being real now.
Yeah, just I didn't want to make that. I didn't even want to ask that question, but it just seems it seems to be that people are doing the rounds, and unfortunately for the position,
they're doing it rounds. They're doing it rounds, Uni, simply because like it's like people take joy in other people's demise, and you could take joy in someone else's demise. Isn't going to improve your life. Your life is not going to get any better. You writing negative comments and spiteful things about somebody, your life is not going to miraculously get better. And if you do feel better about besmirching someone else's name, you have a mental condition that you need to be checked out.
I get that. I do want to ask you though, in regards to Tyson's, there's another sort of debate online. Has Tyson's legacy been tarnished with this loss to Usyk, his performance over Ngannou? Obviously, he's still got that rematch, which if he wins that, you know, he's going to be up there. His name's going to be up there anyway. But in your eyes, I want to ask you that question. Do you feel like his legacy has been tarnished?
No, his legacy is not done with. What's happened is this. Unfortunately, Tyson Fury just came up against a complete superb little man. That's all that happened, right? And Usyk is fantastic. I didn't think that Usyk could beat Tyson Fury. I thought he'd give him trouble. I even thought he could hurt Tyson Fury, but I didn't think he could beat him, right? And he did beat him. He comprehensively beat him, right? But if you look at rounds 5, 6, and 7, that was Tyson Fury's best work. That was like, wow. The uppercuts, the body shots that he's putting in, that was like the wow moment. But now you have to ask yourself, can Tyson Fury psychologically go to the world? Not physically, psychologically can he go there? I don't know. But you know what? End of the day, Tyson Fury's done fantastic. He's done great for boxing. He put eyeballs on boxing. He's done great for boxing. He's done great for himself financially. I just hope that history, I believe, down the line will still be kind to him, but we're gonna put Usyk up on this high pedestal.
Final two from myself. Deontay Wilder. We saw what happened against Zhang. Do you feel like he's still got it in him to carry on a career? Maybe not at the top. Maybe fighting further down, or is that not Deontay Wilder? And secondly, do you feel like the Tyson Fury trilogy took a lot out of his career?
I don't think that trilogy took a lot out of him. I know that trilogy took a lot out of both of them, right? That was a humdinger, especially the third fight. Oh my goodness gracious. The third fight, two men just went at it, right? That's taken a lot out of all parties involved. That took a lot out of me just watching it, right? So, you know what I mean? After watching that fight, I was forgetting fight dates and everything. People phoning me out, you don't know the knowledge, you don't know nothing. So, let's be real. Hard fights do things to you. Was Riddick Bowe the same after beating Evander Holyfield in their third fight? No, he wasn't. And he beat Evander Holyfield, but he wasn't the same. Was Joe Frazier the same after fighting Muhammad Ali October 75? No, he wasn't. And neither was Ali. Trilogies take it out of you. And that's the fight that took out both men. Right? So let's call it as that.
Final one before I let you go. 45-year-old Manny Pacquiao returning back to the ring against Mario Barrios for the WBC welterweight title. It seems like that's going to happen very soon. What do you make of that?
Manny Pacquiao is going to beat Barrios. Remember, I'm telling you.
You want to add anything more to that? What do you make of the comeback then? What do you make of him coming back to boxing?
Manny Pacquiao has been a fighter all his life, right? He hasn't abused himself. He hasn't done nothing crazy. He's just like, the guys who give Manny Pacquiao problems, especially in this later age of his career, are the guys who are slick boxers who can box. You get what I'm trying to say to you? They're the guys that are going to give him trouble. Barrios, he's Mexican descent. He got the Mexican style, even though he can skill around the ring. I remember like when he was trained by Virgil Hunter then. I don't think he's with Virgil anymore. Right? He can box, he's got good IQ. But Manny Pacquiao's a great. And I believe that Manny Pacquiao, that can be his last hurrah I think Manny Pacquiao will come out on top in a barn burner. May lose a few rounds though, but I think Manny Pacquiao is going to win that fight.
Spencer, always a pleasure. I do enjoy talking to you, talking about boxing.
Thank you very much. And may I also say lastly, yeah? When we're talking about things that take out of you, yeah? Wasted talent is a terrible thing. Adrien Broner, in years to come, is going to kick himself. He's going to kick himself simply because how can we look at somebody who is a 4-weight world champion, right? And say that they're underachieved. It's crazy, right? But Adrien Broner, I am telling you now, he is going to kick himself. I remember talking to one of his coaches back in the day. And I'm talking back in the day when Amir Khan lost to Peterson and had the rematch, but it didn't happen, right? And I remember being with one of his coaches. I said, "Who's the fastest guy that you've ever seen? Is Floyd the fastest guy that you've ever seen?" He said, "No." I said, "Adrien Broner." At that time, Adrien Broner was coming up. I think he just won the WBC super featherweight crown, and Adrien Broner was something else. I thought this guy's going to be something else, but the discipline of boxing has to be a complete discipline, where you are so disciplined that you can stay away from trying the whole bullshit of the industry. It's very difficult for him, and my heart goes out to Adrien Broner. It really does, because Adrien Broner should have been something special and he's not.
Spencer Fearon, appreciate your time as always. Thank you very much for talking to pro boxing fans.